This is the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show, a weekly broadcast that breaks down each Eagles game better than anyone else. The Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show is broadcasting live from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken and is heard on both 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM and is brought to you by SEPTA, Fogo de Chão, the Great American Pub, Independence Blue Cross, and Grand Cafe L'Aquila. We now go live to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
All right, everybody, welcome to the beautiful Great American Pub in Conshohocken, where this is the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. The 4-0 Eagles will be represented by their wonderful alumni, Mr. Hollis Thomas, tonight. Paul Domowitch, my co-host from this beautiful Great American Pub. Domo, 4-0, a win yesterday. They squeezed it out in overtime, gave up a touchdown in the last play. Many other things to talk about, but a win is a win is a win. No style points in football. How you doing tonight?
Good, doing well. Yep, 4-0, and you're right. There's a lot of good and bad, but probably the best of the good is probably that was Jalen Hurts' best performance of the season.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, best performance of the season. We've talked about this every week, and Hollis, you're the fourth defensive player we had on. We haven't had an offensive player yet.
Why not? What are you guys doing to people?
We're kind of biased.
We're sending them in the wrong direction.
Okay, cool. Good things.
How easy is it when you played in preseason and you got sharp before the season started, or in shape, or whatever you want to call it, game fitness?
Right.
How hard is it not to play, do you think, in the preseason, which guys are doing now, and then come in and it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, especially with new coordinators on both sides? Well, tell us about that for a minute.
Well, you know what? That only happened to me like one time, and then I want to say it was there was one year where it seemed like everybody was getting hurt in the preseason, and I thought we were going to play against the Tennessee Titans on one of the preseason games, and somebody got hurt, and immediately he was like, "No, nobody's going in." I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" So, but when you go in, it's like a slow progression. Yeah. It's like because with what preseason used to give you, and another thing too, they're not hitting in practice like we used to. And I'm throwing it out there because the part of I guess the aggressive nature and the physical nature of our training camps, it kind of used to also prepare you for the season, and you get all those those soft tissue injuries out. I don't know if you've been to a practice. I've been to a practice
many.
Yes, I've been to. I'm talking about lately. Lately, and I went and I was like, well, I'm gonna go over here, and they were blowing the whistle to bring it up. I was like, damn. It's over already, but to what you guys are saying about missing all the preseason, I think you need something to build up to the regular season. Your first rep shouldn't be, and we got away with it now, but it shouldn't be. And I know he said, Nick Sirianni said that he was going to look into it next year to give the guys a little bit more preseason reps, but it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't bode well most of the time, but I don't know. It actually, I guess it depends on the guy.
Well, Domo, last year 8-0, stopped by the Washington Commanders at home. This year 3-0, almost a quarter of the way through the season. Sam Howell goes nuts. The week after the Eagles stomped Tampa Bay on the road. Both coordinators again new. The Eagles, obviously, they had a bunch of sacks, but not a great pass rush. It's mostly from the linebackers. The safeties and the slot corners seem to be particular problems that the defenses or the offenses are attacking. Would Harry Roseman have to look into the trade market, do you think, at some point? Because it seems like that's what the Eagles really need.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the problem I don't think they can fix is the slot corner. I just think that's an area. I mean, they can move James Bradbury in there every now and then, depending on who's playing in the slot. Like this week, it's probably going to be Cooper Kupp. So you may.
Oh God,
not a bad player.
But they also got the other young guy too that's turned into the new Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
The kid from BYU.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, but Avonte Maddox needs to be. There's nobody that can do. I mean, you want to keep Bradbury outside ideally, and so if you're going to trade for somebody. I mean, Jeremy Chinn's name keeps getting mentioned.
I like that.
People like that. Yeah, somebody that can kind of occupy that slot. Safety, I think they're fine. I think. Reed Blankenship, I like.
Edmonds had a horrible game.
Yeah, he did have it.
Yeah,
but it was just one game. To what you guys have said, it's like I think our zone defense. I don't think they've gotten the size zone principles down as well, and the communication. I was talking to myself and Brian Dawkins. We're talking about we don't hear the communication like when you're a defense.
Who's Brian Dawkins?
He's one of my esteemed colleagues.
Very esteemed.
It's like so we were talking about not hearing the communication. Like when you see motion and stuff, you don't see in out. You're supposed to hear that type of stuff. Like the crowd should hear that. It's like when we were in the Super Bowl and they did that motion and you just see nobody doing anything.
Yeah.
I knew that they had us. It's like it's like that right now with us because we're learning the nuances of the size defense. But I think as time progresses, he'll learn that to play a little bit more man, and somebody's going to have to learn how to talk.
Yeah. All right, well, Damo, we saw yesterday. A.J. Brown had a very big game, 9 catches, $175, 2 touchdowns, a taunting penalty, whatever. We'll talk about the officials a little bit later. But Jalen Hurts, you mentioned, had his best game of the year. He is now 21-1. His last 22 as a starter, obviously a team game. His last 5 double-digit deficits he's come back from. Played pretty well yesterday, a couple picks notwithstanding, a couple plays notwithstanding, rather. But his teammates said there was a fire in him that they hadn't seen a lot in some games. He seemed to kick it up to a new level yesterday. What is it about Jalen Hurts? He's so calm on the field, but there's a fire burning inside him that you got to love, be it the brotherly shove or the tush push or the big plays he makes to A.J. or Devontae. They seem to get him wound up. Why was yesterday different than every other day?
Well, I mean, he's taken the first 3 games to heart. He hears what people say.
Right.
He knows he didn't play. He knows he could have played better, and he feeds on that. You saw him after the game was over yesterday. The look in his eye as he was, he wasn't looking for people to exchange jerseys with.
Nope. That's what I love about him.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about the other team. I'm not shaking your hand because I don't have to.
Yeah.
This ain't high school, but it's like. The one thing that I think that we probably didn't mention was this was a team that stopped us from being 9-0 last year.
Yep.
And they
division rival.
Yeah, not a division rival, and they actually physically kicked our ass.
Yeah.
If you look at that game last year, they came in here and stumped a mud hole.
Yeah.
Did you see the plane with Josh Harris on it? Somebody bought skywriting on a plane and flew over.
They controlled the ball for like 40 minutes last year.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had the bend but don't break crap, and everybody was rich. Jonathan Gannon it up, and I kept saying, that's not defense.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I did like about the defense is that at times we blitz in some timely times that we wouldn't have done last year, and they would have had the ball for 40 minutes again if we had the same old guy there. But I think the part about Jalen though is that I felt like this was a personal game because it's like last year they came and they made us look mortal, and we had been looking like a super team. So you circle those games. You don't circle those games, but you circle those games, and it's a bit of revenge. I felt like for both offense and defensive line.
Well, Sean McVay coaches the Rams, and he's a terrific coach, obviously, and he'll watch the film, Damo, of what Eric Bieniemy and the Commanders did to the Eagles secondary. What did Bieniemy do? He gets a lot of praise, a lot of kudos for being innovative and the like. We got Brian Johnson, who's making progress. I thought a lot of the game was very well called yesterday, Sean Desai. But what did Bieniemy do with Sam Howell, who's not Tom Brady, if you know what I mean, in the pocket, and he's not Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts with his legs? What did Sam Howell do to cave the Eagles' secondary that they have to be careful of next week against a pretty damn potent Rams offense?
They got the ball out quick.
Yeah.
You got that pass rush coming after you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to hold on to it. I mean, everybody they play, you look at after the game's over, their snap to release time.
Yeah.
It's probably the fastest of the year for them.
But they did on some third downs, on some key third downs. If you notice, when they saw we were in zone, the same play was open every time the sail block over to the defensive left. And so you have to do something about that. Whether it's telling the corner to quit biting up on the route in front of them and sink, Because I was looking at it, I was like, why is he biting on the route in front of him? There's somebody. If somebody comes up in front of you, you have to know that somebody's going to go behind you. So you got to kind of wait till the quarterback releases the ball. And I'd rather him throw it to the guy that's in front of me than to the guy that's behind me.
Go ahead, Tom.
I was just going to say, one of the things that I don't understand about what DeSay's doing, when you've got that kind of pass rush,
Right.
I want my corners up in the people's faces.
Yeah.
and
I'm getting sick of that, too.
Delaying them
Great
from
point.
getting out into their patterns. Because, they're not going to be able to hold on to the ball. So if you can just keep them...
Mess up the rhythm. That's what you're
exactly.
looking for. Mess up the rhythm.
And instead, they're playing a lot of off coverage.
Yeah.
It's that old, a lot of his mentality is the same mentality as Jonathan Gannon. We don't want to get beat by a big play.
Don't beat us over the top. Yep. Yeah. Hollis always talks to me about knowing the whole NFL. When I called you a couple weeks ago about this show, Hollis said to me, Damo, I said, what do you think the Eagles should do? He goes, I'll tell you what right now, there's a punter sitting at home named Braden Mann. There's a terrific holder that Jake Elliott could use. And, boy, he came in yesterday, didn't punt very well. But how about Jake Elliott? We never talk about him. He's so good. He's not Justin Tucker yet, but he's getting close.
Is he Akers already?
It's incredible. I mean, we take him for granted. He's probably the best athlete on the team. Yeah. 4 for 4.
Stop it. He's the best kicker.
Hollis, he's
the best kicker. Remember,
there are Eagles that say, but there are Eagles that say he's the best athlete on the team, not just me. Current Eagles who said that plenty of times.
They're just massaging him.
Why? Because
they're just not athletes. No matter what.
He's a kicker.
But the kicking has obviously been
unbelievable.
But until the last kickoff, which was effective, he had to kick from the 20 because of the taunting penalty.
Yep.
He had kicked 22 touchbacks in a row.
Yep. Yeah, just kicks it over
He hadn't given up one that they returned since week 1.
Or even fair call it. They're just out of the end zone.
Yeah.
Hollis, this week, and we'll go back to the Sunday's game obviously a lot, but the Eagles face a defense that's not bad, but they have a pretty good player in the middle named Aaron Donald, who might be as good a defensive tackle as ever played. Obviously, the Eagles had their own Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, 2 young defensive tackles, but Aaron Donald's Aaron Donald. Vita Vea didn't do a whole lot against the Eagles. They went for 200 yards against them. Kelsey and Cam Jurgens doubled them a lot. Cam Jurgens hurt now, going to miss a few weeks. What kind of problem from one nose tackle, defensive tackle, to another is Aaron Donald going to pose for the Eagles' offensive line?
You know what I think they're going to do decently, because I think they're not going to take him for granted. They're going to try to run at him, because if you try to run away from him, all he's going to do is run it down. And you just have to go with your offense, and you have to act accordingly. You have to do little things like chip him. You have to make sure that when he's on a scoop block, make sure that the offensive tackle, he knows the offensive tackle is there on the scoop block. But you're going to have to account for him, especially in the pass. In the pass, you're going to have to double team him a little bit. So it's one of those things to where you start running the ball and you get him flustered, and then when you get a really good guy, a great guy flustered, it's hard for them to start to settle back down to kick your butt like he does everybody else.
Damo, when you're settling down for your Hall of Fame committee in a few years, obviously Aaron Donald's going to be a first ballot guy. Is he the best you've ever seen next to maybe a Reggie White, pure defensive tackle, guys who really don't move outside a lot? He does a little bit. Compare him to anybody. Is he comparable, or is he his own self?
Well, he's his own self, because there's nobody that's under 300 that plays like he's 350.
Yeah, well,
he has the speed of a wide receiver.
I would equate him to John Randall.
Yeah,
John Randall, another Hall of Famer.
It's like when you look at him, he's a beast.
Yeah. No,
and it's like a lot of people don't realize how much of a beast like John Randall was, and then even Warren Sapp. Those guys played that position, that 3 technique well. And it's like sometimes you take it for granted, but those guys were. The funniest thing is, I have to give it to him, because he's a man amongst boys. Wow. I've never seen anybody like the thing that he did in the Super Bowl when they needed to play, and he went and got it. Wow.
You got any concerns if they move him over Opeta?
Yeah, they're going to. That's for sure.
Well, put it this way. I used to have this thing called Pigeons of the Week. Opeta is our pigeon. Even we're Eagles, but he's our pigeon. But I feel like he's got the size, and I think I like Opeta because I think he's nasty enough to do some things that's going to irk him, and he's going to hold him, and it's going to get him out of his game a little bit.
Well, they took Vita Vea out of the game, and they're going to have to do the same thing with Donald on Sunday. On the other side of the ball.
But I don't. When you say Donald and Vita Vea is okay. I don't know what.
But he's the best they played thus far, obviously.
I didn't know what.
Not Aaron Donald.
Somebody else said his name. I was like, what's the big deal? He cannot get out of the middle.
He's not Aaron Donald, no question about it. On offense, Domo called me one Saturday, said, turn channel 941 on. I said, what's on channel 941? He goes, Eastern Washington and their star receiver, Cooper Kupp. I think this guy's going to be a stud in the NFL. Your prophecy has turned true. He's coming off the pup list or injured reserve, whatever he was on.
Yeah.
They got the new kid from BYU that's caught 140 passes the first 4 weeks.
Right.
Sean McVay knows what he's doing.
A little bit. He keeps getting rid of guys that say they want his girlfriend.
You know, he's it's his wife now. Isn't he?
I don't know, but every offensive player that he's traded, apparently before they got traded, they made a notion. It's like, I do that.
This is his 7th year in the NFL. 7th.
Yes.
And he's still the youngest coach in the league.
Yeah.
What's he good?
He's the good thing. The thing about him is, I think he has a way of doing things. 'Cause we played them a while back. And actually, we played them, and they beat us here. But
You didn't play when Sean McVay was coaching,
No, I
did
didn't
you?
play. I'm talking about when the Eagles played them when they came out here, and the Cooper Kupp was there, but they actually took advantage of us by hitting their tight end. Their tight end killed us that game. Yeah. And so I think, and then he was coaching at Washington as well. So you got to kind of know that he's been watching what everybody else is doing, but then he has to know that he knows that this is a copycat league. So he's going to have something just a little bit different. And I don't see them hedging Cooper Kupp. I don't think they took him off the pup list, but he had the 21-day practice list. I don't think he's going to play our game. Well, but the young kid, I know the young kid. We've been put on notice. The young kid is like that.
He's very good.
Yes,
He's good.
And it'll be a fight Sunday. Let's hope Cooper Kupp doesn't play out at SoFi Stadium. We're looking at the Eagles and the Rams. We're going to come back, look more at the Eagles and their win yesterday over the Commanders, talk a little about what's going on in the NFL, say some sad things. Russ Francis, somebody that Damo and I'm sure Hollis saw play as a kid, great tight end for the Patriots, passed away in a plane crash. Very sad for the NFL. Lots of stuff going on, some good, some bad. We'll talk about all of it here from the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken, where Bill Harris is in the house. We're back after this.
Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their buffalo chicken spring rolls or Maryland crab cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
We now return to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
All right, back here at the Great American Pub with the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff. Remember, you can catch the show live on WBCB Radio. Don't forget, you can also watch the show live at WBCBSports.com and YouTube live by searching, WBCB Sports. During the break, we had a little incident here. Hollis Thomas Paul Domowitch caught a ball right in front of Hollis Thomas and put the ball in Hollis's hands. Chuck, our host, threw a flag and called a taunting penalty 15 yards. What did you think of the penalty yesterday, guys?
You go first.
Okay, yeah, because it was to me. I think A. Brown should have known better. Yeah. Well, at that point in the game, because they had been bickering back and forth. The kid that he was going against is a rookie. I loved him coming out of college. He's out of Mississippi State. Has 6 pick sixes at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
6 pick sixes, and he's a
not
beast.
6 picks, 6 pick sixes. Wow.
Yes, he was a beast coming out of school. And a lot of people when they were going back and forth, some people were like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be doing it, AJ." I was like, "No, he's right. He's correct. You don't play with that kid. Yeah. Make sure you do what you're supposed to do." But they were bickering back and forth, and if you watch, the officials kept telling them, cut it out, and then you make a big play on him, and then you just lay the ball at his feet. You know you're going to get a penalty. Yeah. Because you're starting things back up. Yeah. Because it's like they've already asked you. They was telling them, they was separating them throughout the entire game, even the head official. Yeah. And so it was a boneheaded play.
Yeah, I agree. And not only that, AJ's a veteran. He knows they have zero tolerance for. They're
taunting. Yeah.
You want to go celebrate in the corner with your teammates? That's great. They have no problem with flapping your wings or whatever. Mm-hmm. But you don't do that. And you got to be
smarter.
Somebody tweeted me and said, you shouldn't have to tell a grown-ass man to penalize him for that. Well, yeah, I guess you do.
You do. Well, it's like you never assume to make an ass out of you.
Talking about grown-ass man, there's one thing that drove me insane yesterday about the game. I don't know if the people in the audience, when the Eagles had the ball, 2-3 minutes left on the Commanders' 35, 40-yard line, and they threw the double move. They figured the Commanders aren't going to think they're going to go deep. They're going to think they play close to the vest, nibble their way down the field. They throw the double move to AJ for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. And on Twitter, people are like, what the hell are they doing? Yeah. And I'm thinking, what the hell are you saying?
Thank you.
Damo, you score a touchdown.
Yes.
I know you get the taunting penalty on top, but forget that for a second.
Yeah.
You score a touchdown because you score a touchdown. You can't worry about your defense being driven down the field by Sam Howell. This isn't Pat Mahomes sliding with 1:50 left and take a knee and run the clock out.
There's
no guarantees for anything.
Thank you, sir.
It's ridiculous.
You were correct, Paul. Jolly, you were you were correct in being pissed at people saying that.
It was ridiculous.
The book of losers do that. It's like the defenses play to stop.
Absolutely.
To stop people. Yeah. And it's like, yes, he had a 15-yard taunting penalty, but they got the ball on the 35-yard line, and it's Sam, like you said, it's Sam Howell.
And they still had one play to win the game. What you thought of the whole thing, Damo?
Same as you guys. I mean, too many bad things can happen if you try to kill the clock and kick a field goal, including getting a field goal blocked.
Yes.
Which what would people be saying about Nick Sirianni if that happened? And secondly, you're right. I mean, if a defense can't stop a team from going in that case because of taunting 62 yards with a young quarterback. That's where the blame lies for that on the defense.
Of course it is.
Now the funniest thing, that was a question posed to me about do I think that Ron Rivera did the right thing in going for one. I was like, yes, he did the right thing in going for one. Because if you watch that drive, almost every other play, we were sacking the crap out of the quarterback, and the next play would have probably been a sack.
I think it depends on what he thought of his team, though. If he thinks his team is going nowhere this year, which he does, and he clearly thinks you're a contender, if you think you're going nowhere, you take a shot. If you think you're a contender, kick the point called overtime. What do you do?
But Jolly, I think he's past that point of trying to motivate.
I do too. I agree with you.
It's like when you have a young team and you're trying to get something going. Let's go for two. Let's get the hell out of here.
Do you think Sirianni does the same thing? You think he goes for two there?
No, I think he goes for one. I think he goes for one.
Yeah.
It's like because when you have an established team, we'll kick your ass in there, and then we know when the game is over. Not so much when the game is over, but in overtime. It's like that's what we did. It's like when you have a real team, you get all the way down there. You don't want. It's kind of like when I was watching the game when the Bears went for it on 4th and 2, on 4th and 1. Instead of kicking the field goal to tie it up, to go ahead in 3. It was the
yesterday.
On Sunday. Yeah. You saw that when they were in field, they were like right on the 20, or something.
They're the
and
Bears.
It was 4th and 1, but it was tied 28-28. Kick a field goal, and if they panned the camera to the to the owner's booth and the GM booth when they didn't get the 4th and 1, and then what does Denver do? They march downfield and get the field goal.
Tom, I think we've gone, and I'm a big-time gambler. I love poker. I love to gamble. My wife will tell you that. We've gone too far. This analytics thing, 4th and 9 from your own 9, analytics says go for it. I mean, are we going too far to the other side?
Yes, you are. Those are video game odds, man. I'm just saying. I played Madden like nobody's business. Only time, and we had to make a rule up that when you got a fourth and that long in your own territory, you punt it, because a lot of times guys will get mad and reset it. It will mess up your whole profile and stuff of you kicking their teeth in.
Analytics has a place, but it's you don't make decisions solely based on it. You give it to a coach. Has that information, and he also knows the team he has, and it's up to him to make his decisions.
100% agree, and everybody says like you're tough, like beat your chest. We went for it on 4th and 5. Right. Next year you're going to get ripped for certain calls. You got to play smart also. You don't get extra points for being a daredevil. Even Evil didn't play football. He jumped motorcycles. Now if you don't go for it on 4th and 9, again, from the 50-yard line, half your fan base is saying, what the hell are you going for it for? I don't think they've ever coached a football game or played in a football game, Hollis and
That's brutal, especially when you don't get it and you see your defense out there.
Yeah.
It's one thing to want to go for that, which is cool if you're by yourself and you're playing a video game. But when you have other people depending on you trying to get a victory.
Well, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Your offense, I'm sure you played, Hollis, and your offense took a stupid shot on 4th down, didn't make it. You go out to defend a short field. I'm you're thinking, what the bleep were they doing? Did that happen a lot to you?
I remember, I don't know if I ever told you, we lost the game 6-3 to Brett Favre in Lambeau Field.
6-3?
Yeah.
I kind of vaguely remember that one.
Yeah. Man, we had the offensive guru at the helm. So when you ask me, okay, here's this will crack you up. So I forgot the team we were playing, but I do remember the running back was Brian Westbrook. So Brian Westbrook gets 5, gets 6, gets 8, gets another 5. The next 3 plays are 3 passes in a row. And if you could have been the fly on the wall when those offensive line were coming off the field, how pissed they were of the stupidity of the play call.
They like to run block.
Sequence. Well, no, if you run block, if you're demoralizing like that, and you're getting that type of yardage, continue to run. A lot of people is like, oh, it's a passing league. No, it's not. The people who can run the ball and stop the run are the people who end up winning. Because if you can't run the ball, you have to pass all the time, and sooner or later, things are going to get off, and that ball is going to be incomplete. And when that ball is incomplete, Jolly, what does it do? If the clock stops, it gives the other team the opportunity to get back in.
Well, were you happy with DeAndre Swift's usage yesterday, Paul?
Yeah. Well, I still think I want to see him and Gainwell used more in the passing game. They actually had 6 catches yesterday, but they were mostly short stuff. I want to see them, get them downfield, get them in routes.
You know what I want to see them, because a lot of people are playing us for the deep ball. I want to see them take advantage of the underneath stuff. Because if you start taking advantage of that underneath stuff and not always looking to go deep or looking to go to everybody else, that brings them up, and then the deep stuff will be
exactly
there. So
you had mentioned, and we were talking analytics and stuff. I mean, how many people do you think, if you took a poll of head coaches in the league that were in the situation the Eagles were in overtime, 4th and 1 at midfield, and they go for it, how many coaches would do that? Because if you don't make it, you're basically giving them a 10 yards to get in field goal range. But for the Eagles, it's kind of becoming automatic because of the tush push.
Well, Hollis, what do
the funniest thing? I'm sorry, but the funniest thing about the tush push, you saw what they did, right? Since we play against the Commanders twice a year, they've tried to figure out a way to stop it.
Right.
So everybody loaded up for the tush push. He took it and ran outside.
What do you think of tush push? You're a defensive lineman. I don't like it. I'll be honest.
It doesn't bother me. People don't. These guys don't take the time to learn how to stop stuff. All you do is your 2 interior guys, your 2 tackles, they nose dive like everybody else and shoot their hands.
So you go over the top.
No, you can go over the top, but as the guys that are diving underneath, you grab the quarterback's legs, and then the other people coming over the top. That's all you do. Right now, you got guys standing up and thinking that
Can't be
you're not
that
macho.
easy.
It is that easy. You can't be. You can't. You know what's. You know
Well, why
what?
don't you sign a free agent contract
You know
with
it's not.
somebody?
You know it's not easy not being macho, because that's what they're being. They think, oh, we can stop it. Oh, you know who wins? You know who wins in that situation? The low man. If you're not the low man and you think that you go, oh, I'm gonna stop. No, they're gonna throw you into the backseat.
Trying to grab Hertz's legs though is like trying to grab steel girders.
Yeah, but if you launch it, you're taking their legs out and you stopping their surge.
Yeah.
So even if you don't get Hertz's legs, he's going to be pretty much on their back. So it's not rocket science.
All right, guys, we got to take another break now. But real quick, before we take that break, Tomo, Brian Johnson, Sean Desai. My buddy Sean was talking, who's in the audience tonight, about Eagles not getting in sync with all three phases playing well. Special teams played pretty well yesterday, obviously with Jake. Britton Covey, who's got a concussion this week. But the other two units, the offense, pretty good play calling, defense. Tell us about the job you think Sean Desai and Brian Johnson have done and how they enhanced it yesterday, if they did, in your opinion.
Well, I mean, they both have some growing pains. I mean, you can look at you could point out instances in the first 4 games that they made some mistakes. But, yesterday Desai has a young quarterback. He goes from, in the first 3 games, their blitz percentage was like 19.6%.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was 30. I mean, he knows, hey, we're sending the house after him.
Yes.
He sent 6-man blitzes.
Yes.
It was great. And they didn't need to keep doing that.
Right.
Offensively, Brian Johnson's, even though he knows the quarterback since he was 4 years old, this is the first time that he's calling plays.
Yeah.
At the NFL level.
So they've got to get in sync, and it's going to be a process.
Yeah.
All right, guys, when we come back, we're going to talk about other stuff that went on around the NFL. Eagles, of course, leading the NFC East, facing the Rams in L.A. this week. The Cowboys gave Belichick his worst licking as a coach. Some other stuff interesting around the NFL. We're here with Paul Domowitch, Hollis Thomas, the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff, right here from the Great American Pub and Conshohocken, where you can enjoy great food 24 hours a day. I shouldn't say that.
24 hours a day?
Close to it. It's always good when you're here and it's open a lot.
Hey, he's here. He's
Morning
here
till
24
night.
hours a day.
I'm here 24 hours a day.
That's because your wife doesn't like you?
Absolutely. Great American Pub and Conshohocken, where my wife is right now, as well as Josh Pearsall. We're back right after this.
Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their buffalo chicken spring rolls or Maryland crab cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
We now return to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
All righty, back here at the Great American Pub in Conshohocken with the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff. I'm going to ask my Hall of Fame voter and our ex-Eagle, played for 4 teams in a 14-year career, Hollis Thomas.
50, but who's got it?
You are.
He's trying to shortchange it.
All right.
He's been doing that for quite some time.
Guys, my opinion is, I'm going to make it simple on this one. I'm going to let you guys decide this. My opinion is that the officials in the NFL are too old. buddy of mine said that once. They're supposed to keep up with the players while having their eyes on the ball. It's in motion. It's very difficult. Obviously, you got to get experience before you come there. But we talk every week about the officials and egregious calls and horrible calls and whining about calls, which drives me nuts. They're doing their best.
What?
I don't get on the refs, Hollis. I just don't make my life about getting on the refs. Wait a minute. I'll give you time to answer.
Go ahead.
Damo first and then Hollis.
Okay.
Talk about the refs in the NFL, the judgment calls, and what your opinion of them is. Mine's not very high, but I have no problem.
I had never noticed the too old part. I thought, I don't know, looked like a fair mix of older guys, younger guys, women. There's too many games where it seems to be about them, and that's not a good thing. When you can say they're making a difference in the game, then they're not officiating right.
Is it about them because we make it about them, or
No.
Well, it's a tough game. Granted, it's a tough game to officiate. I've always believed the league needs to put somebody up in the booth that basically can overrule them at any time. Somebody screws up. That's what you go back to the '80s with the USFL, the first USFL, the real USFL.
That's one going on.
That's what they did. They had a guy up there. The officials on the field get it wrong, and he sees he overrules them. But that's my feeling. But it hasn't been good so far.
Hollis, my guess is that you're not the biggest fan of the officials in this world.
Well, you know what, Jolly, and it's not the judgment calls that you're talking about. It's when they allow you to play throughout the game, and then they come up with an untimely bullcrap call. It's
Changed the way.
Yeah, it changed the.
You just want to know what you're allowed to do and what you're not, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like when you, it's just like it's like in the Super Bowl, and it's like in the game on Monday night, and then look at our game as well.
Yeah.
If you look at our game as well, it was two pass interference calls that the commentators had to stop and pause for station identification because they didn't see what the officials saw. And it's like
well, they all got their officials in the booth too.
Well, yeah, and the official in the booth was like, I don't see what they saw.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. It's not the ones you're talking about, the judgment calls. Those are going to be hit or miss. But when you've established how you're going to be calling the game all game long, and then the dude last night, he threw a penalty flag, and say these two guys are the ones that he's throwing a penalty flag on right here. He was farther behind them than the lady that's pouring the drink now. He was further behind them than that, and he called holding, and it was like you couldn't even see that.
All right, Domo, then answer this question for me, because you make these calls and they are what they are, obviously, but Hollis said you have to know what you can do and what you can't do. We talk about the officials all the time. The officials in the booth, the Dean Blandinos and these guys, the biggest thing for any color commentator in football, Chris Collinsworth, anybody else, is to be able to criticize the players.
Right.
People say about Brady next year, will he be able to criticize guys he played with? Well, the referees are the same way. It seems like the referees stammer forever if the ref makes a mistake, and then they ask Gene Steratore to rip his compatriot. Is that part of the problem? Not with the actual calls, but the broadcasters and how they interpret that.
How would that be a problem?
Not with the actual calls, but I'm saying to kind of sway the opinion of the public, which we know TV does.
I know Dean from
Dean Blandino.
From the 33rd team.
Ah.
And when we have a Zoom call, he's fairly candid. Now, he's not that candid on the air.
Right.
But again, I don't understand how you expect that. You know what you're getting from them on when they're being asked to. I agree with Hollis. For years I would talk to DBs the smart ones before a game would chat up the officials that are going to that are going to be making the calls on pass interference and defensive holding, and get a feel for how they're going to call the game. They're not going to be totally honest, but they're going to say, I'll let you guys play a little bit.
But it's, to what you're saying, the guys in the booth are kind of quiet because they don't see what they're calling.
Yeah.
And then the other part too, Jolly, is, and the part that we used to do, we would know who the officials are. Most of the coaches that I play for, they would let us know who the officials are.
Know your refs, absolutely.
And they would let us know what calls they're known to make. Yeah. But us as a team, we would go out there and play as hard as we can. And then you figured out how they were calling the game.
Yeah. You say you were talking to Brian. I was talking to Brian Dawkins as well. And he said to me, He said Hollis Thomas would let's say John Wilson was officiating the game. He said it was common for you to say, after a call against you, Mr. Wilson, are you positive that you made the correct call? What's the worst thing you ever said without saying it on the air?
Well, I've never said anything. See, the thing is you don't mess with the people that are officiating the game. That's the one thing you can't do.
You never argued?
No, I never
say
argued.
whatever you want to an NFL ref. They're never going to call you for 15.
I know,
you go berserk.
But it's like why would I waste my energy on that instead of doing what I'm supposed to be out there doing? It is waste of energy to be. You talking to a guy that can throw a flag whenever he got ready.
Domo, you can call it in basketball and baseball. We saw with Angel Hernandez last week. You can't say one word. Hockey and football, you can MF whatever you want. Does that seem strange to you?
No, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I know your disdain for stats and analytics, but before a game, most of the Eagles, most players have been briefed. They've got the numbers on what these guys call, how often they call it,
Smart.
who are the most, who throws the most flags. So, I mean, they get ready for the officiating as much as they get ready for the opponent in front of them. So.
And not only that, it's like you know which officials that kind of don't like you.
Exactly.
That's like it was some officials.
Like Juwan Taylor's starting to learn.
Well, yeah, but if you look at I was always cool with all officials, but it was one game in particular. We was out in San Francisco playing, and our huddle got pissed because we were being held the entire game, and not a single flag came out. But he told one of my esteemed colleagues to shut your fat ass up and get back in the huddle. And I could not stop laughing.
That's funny.
Number 90. He was. It was. You remember who number 90 was, don't you?
The ref?
Well, the player he told that was number 90.
Come on, give us like initials.
Number 90? Really? You don't remember who number 90 was?
From your
C-sign?
This is like 2000 to 2000.
C-sign?
Okay.
Because so basically what was going down was that was when they had the official still standing behind us.
Yeah.
They were holding
the
every play. Yeah, the umpire.
Yeah.
They were holding every play. It was like Ray Brown and I think some Diesel or somebody where we were mauling them and they were just like holding on for dear life and they never made a call. So
you just want consistency, right?
Yes,
there you
consistency.
Go. That's
and
the key
then
word.
so Corey and Corey and Trotter, they said something to the official, talking about you ought to be ashamed to go pick up your check. And I think Corey was way more adamant about it than Trotter, and he told him to shut your fat ass up and get back in the huddle.
All right, guys, let's take a look around the league. We're almost a quarter of the way through. 4-0, the Eagles are going to the Rams. The byes start this week. Some games yesterday. Obviously, Dallas beat New England like a drum.
Man.
Miami fell out of the unbeaten ranks when Buffalo, as you said, Damo, the shine that was on Miami turned to tarnish yesterday for a week. Look around the NFL. Tell me what you saw yesterday that shocked you or surprised you in any way.
Boy, I wouldn't. Miami didn't shock me at all.
No.
Yeah, I thought New England would give the Cowboys a better game.
They got a field goal.
Stop it.
Ezekiel Elliott back in Dallas got his, what?
Trying to think what else. I don't have the
Zach Wilson coming back from 17-0 against the Chiefs.
He showed that one drive. He looked like Brett Favre.
Yep.
And then the next drive, he looked like Zach Wilson.
You know what? Hey, I can help you out. What was the in Bears franchise history? What was the biggest comeback? What's been the biggest comeback ever?
The Bears.
And the Bears, they lost.
How the hell would we know?
They lost to the Broncos, and they were up by 21.
Yeah.
That was the largest.
In the history of the Bears?
In the history of the Bears, 21 points.
Nobody'd ever come back from 22 behind ever against them before?
No.
Wow.
Well, that was the significance of me saying. You remember what I just told you? He went for it on 4th and 1, in the plus territory where you could have kicked the field goal and went ahead after they've already come back from. Because this was the funniest thing too, so you know how they tied it up. On a pass, it was a pass play, but he fumbled the ball, and so the Denver defense ran in for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. So you're marching back downfield, and not to mention it was Justin Fields pretty much his best game as a professional.
Oh, yeah.
And then you march downfield and you get in position to win, and you go. And that's what I'm telling you. When he went for it, the owner in the booth, and the GM, like when they didn't get it on the 4th and 1, they both was like, "Oh God."
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Let's say Chicago has the worst record in the league, and they have the first pick in the next year's draft.
They better draft a quarterback.
That's what I was going to ask you. Should they go get Caleb Williams and the coach out there and bring them both to town?
Lincoln Riley?
Yeah. Well, you're going to
with quarterbacks.
Well, when you look at it was also some other stuff coming out of Chicago. If we're going to go around the league, some Claypool didn't know that when he benched him, he didn't know whether he was supposed to show up or not.
He said they told him not to.
They pretty much probably did.
Yeah.
And it's like this is the thing with players. Sometimes people think that we pull stuff out of our rectum, but it's like when they tell us something, they don't think that we're going to say it to the people. It's like, so when we're bitching and moaning about something and we're pissed off about something, it's because they've told us something and now they're trying to renege on it in front of everybody. Basically, we call that high-siding.
All right, the NFL is called not for long by a lot of people. Hey, guys, through 4 weeks, I mean, people are in trouble already. Baseball, it happens in all sports. Which refs should rent and not buy this year if they're thinking of buying a house? Who's on the endangered list, Damo?
You talking about coaches?
Yep.
Boy, I put the guy in Chicago right there at the top of the list.
Eberflus, yeah.
Chicago and Carolina. They're not buying what they're selling to Carolina.
Frank, right?
Yeah, Frank. It's like I'm one of their. I get their newsletter and stuff because I'm apparently one of their alumni. And I was like, wait a minute, they don't like the coaches already? Everybody's talking about them already because the coaches have been feeding them a load of stuff. But if you're thinking about somebody's on the hot seat, the guy in Chicago and the guy down in the Carolina.
And depending on what happens with the Chargers going forward.
Oh my God! Yes, I forgot about it. Thank you.
He was seen as a defensive genius. Just don't let him ever make a decision that has anything to do with anything, because he is a friggin' moron.
You remember the tie game when they both could have been in the playoffs, and the Steelers ended up going to the playoffs. So wait a minute, time out. Let them cook and field goal.
Well, this week is a disrespect bowl because the Jets and the Broncos play. Peyton said he was going to apologize to Nathaniel Hackett. Apparently he hasn't. Broncos win a game yesterday. Jets, blah, blah, blah. Is that an interesting game? As interesting as it looked a few weeks ago, Damo?
Any game involving the Denver Broncos right now is not interesting.
Did you guys happen to catch
Wilson Bowl?
No, but did you guys happen to catch any of that game? Any of the Bears and Broncos?
God, you must have been hard up for entertainment.
and there was entertainment because
the Eagles game was terrific.
I know, but it was like, so when you watched the game, so when the Bears went up like 21-7 or something like that, all of a sudden you saw Sean Payton go down to the defensive coordinator like, hey, this better not be like last week. That's what it looked like, he said.
Did you know, by the way, in the history of the Chicago Bears, 100 years, nobody had ever come back from further than 21 against them?
I know, I told you that. That's what I told you. That was the biggest comeback.
He's stealing your
I told him that's why we said that this guy was up. Remember when I said that he would have wanted to go for 4th and 1. But that was the funny part too, because nobody and Chicago is pissed because they have a talented QB, but I don't think that
All right, we'll talk about much more before we get back to the Eagles. Talk about the Eagles coach, Nick Sirianni. What do you guys think of him? 4-0.
The man.
We'll find out when we come back with our Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff from the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. People enjoying great meals. Sean Young walking toward Hollis. Hollis looks like he's scared. Back right after this.
Since 1991, the Great American Pub in Conshohocken has been offering an authentic and memorable experience for guests looking to dine in or enjoy the bar and nightlife. Located at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken, the Great American Pub has all your craft beer selections and some of the best food options anywhere. While you're there trying their buffalo chicken spring rolls or Maryland crab cakes, enjoy your favorite sporting events on their numerous televisions surrounding the bar. Visit them at 123 Fayette Street in Conshohocken or learn more online at thegreatamericanpub.com.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
We now return to the Great American Pub in Conshohocken for the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Domowitch and Paul Jolovitz.
I saw that earlier.
All righty, back with our final segment here with Paul Domowitch and our guest Hollis Thomas. Hassan Reddick, a big sack yesterday. We're going to talk about him for a second. But first, let's slide in a little pub for our Phillies, Domo and Hollis, in the playoffs starting tomorrow night.
Yep.
Just Red October. We ready to rock? Crowd, we ready to rock?
Yeah.
Go Phils.
Go Phils.
I'll be there. I'll be there too.
You will?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll be there. Both games.
There's 3 potential games. You going to all the baseball games, Hollis?
Just to the first 2.
All right.
And then I'm at the L.A.
Wow. What's in L.A.? Some football game this weekend?
Some football game.
You go now tell me what you do for all the road games.
Well, me and Philly Sports Trips, we go to all the road games and we tailgate, and we have different affairs that we have a little prep rally. It was like we were down in.
And they pay you that for that, right?
Hey, man, that's they're better than the lead. No, but no, they do. Obviously, they compensate me well, but I enjoy myself. This is a good way to enjoy yourself, especially when you It's kind of like partying with like-minded people. It's like I was the way I got started with this with doing it was I had never being a player. You don't ever get to tailgate. So I started
rarely.
Yeah, you don't ever get to tailgate. So it's like you get to tailgate at the end.
There we are.
At the end, it was like a lot of times at the end after the game it was like you come out and then it'd be in the players' parking lot. We used to kick it. Ryan and his wife and stuff. They would have them the kids. They would have like a big thing going out there. But as a player, you don't get to go out before the game and have a jolly good time. And I started doing it and I kind of liked it. And I just been doing it. And I just got with the company who actually puts the customer first, and you don't have to go through the rigmarole of building up things to do in different towns. We go to all the Eagle bars in different towns, and actually in Kansas City we're going to the World War I Museum.
Yeah. Wow.
Because growing up as a kid, I don't know if you guys paid attention to the history class. Yeah, they gave us everything but the World War I. They gave us the Civil War. They gave us the War for Independence.
The Forgotten War.
Yeah, they gave us World War II, and it's like, what happened to World War I? So I'm going to go to the World War I Museum there. So
getting back to the tailgate.
Yes.
At the risk of you telling me saying everything.
Okay.
What's your favorite tailgate food?
Favorite tailgate food?
Anything cooked.
And barbecued. It's like they have a lot of barbecue stuff, and some places we go, they batter, dip, and fry everything.
Ooh. You touch me as somebody who would just eat the bones, eat the whole thing.
No, I don't.
No matter what.
No, I just like I roll on tenderness and deliciousness.
Tenderness and deliciousness.
It's like sometimes when you eat, sometimes somebody's like, man, what makes this so good? And the thing that makes food so good is when they cook it with love.
Is Hollis Thomas here? Did you kidnap him during the break?
Well, no, I'm just saying. I have to tell people about the love part. A lot of people don't know love.
You're getting a lot of love, apparently.
I'm a man and I win. I work out to eat and I eat to work out. I don't know if you knew that. But if you look at the heart emblem, it's 2 human hearts, the actual heart, anatomic hearts put together to create what we use all the time.
All right, guys, we got a serious topic to talk about.
What's that?
That wasn't serious?
That wasn't serious?
Well, this one really is serious. This guy, the entire world was talking about this guy in January. He had a heart attack and died on the field. He played his first game yesterday for the Buffalo Bills. Since then, people don't realize he's not a starter. He's a backup. DeMar Hamlin was activated by the Bills for the first time yesterday and got on the field. It kind of became an afterthought with everything going on in this world.
Yeah.
But not an afterthought to me. It's a pretty big day, pretty big moment. You, Damo?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he is able to come back from near death is just amazing. It speaks to the care he got at the time.
Yep.
And it speaks to a guy that tells you how important the game is. That he still wants to play after going through that.
And Hollis.
It's not. I didn't like it because I don't being that close to death and then trying to get back to what put you there. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, if
His decision, though.
it was his decision. But me personally, I can't commend you for that because that already happened to you once, and by the graces of God, you're still here. That means that you're meant for something better. But if you want to do that, that's cool. But don't expect me to give you my graces because you go back out there. I was like, it's cool that he was out there, but I'm still shaky on the whole thing because I saw what happened, and then when I found out what happened, how it happened, I'm like, dude.
All right, there's a statistic this morning. Somebody asked a question to somebody this morning. What NFL player started yesterday with absolutely zero in this category and ended the day tied for the lead in the NFL with 6 sacks? Khalil Mack of the San Diego Chargers, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, Damo, I think, down the road. 6 sacks yesterday, one short of the NFL record of 7. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty good day. Morrow had 3 for the Eagles.
Yes, he did.
Is that more because of how Sean Desai used him?
Well, if you looked at the way that I love the part how he used them because we actually look like we've been practicing the blitzing. And he ran what we call a delay Mackay blitz.
A what?
Delay Mackay blitz. That means that he waited till everybody rushed and I was laughing because somebody asked me how because Trotter used to do it and it was a delay Mackay blitz where Trotter we would normally do a stun up front and Trotter would take a step back and then rush. He didn't take a step back. He kind of just waited till things
He waited for the running back to come through the hole.
Yeah, and waited and then went. Yeah. I just love that part. But
when I'm watching TV sometimes, and my wife will say, that's a delay Mackay blitz. I'm like, I don't know how she spotted that, but it's...
I don't think she likes you.
I know she doesn't like me.
Now, it was one thing that I was going to ask you real quick, because I know you don't have that much time, but do you know what happened on the 8th sack of Derek Thomas, that he didn't get the 8th sack?
No, he had 7. He holds the NFL record.
Yeah, he had 7. Dave Craig was threw a touchdown, and they ended up losing that game. You know they lost that game, right?
I had no idea.
But yeah, it was like he could have shattered the record with his 8th sack. It was like if you're not doing anything, check out the whole game because he talks about that whole.
What NFL record does Dave Craig hold all time?
Smallest hands?
Nope.
What's that? Most fumbles?
Most fumbles.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He did a year ago, unless somebody just broke it.
Yeah, Brett Favre broke that a long time ago.
I don't think
Brett Favre owns every
most interceptions.
Brett Favre owns every bad record.
He is. There's a guy talking about running the NFL.
You're not a fan.
I'm not a fan of Brett Favre at all. But
it's like but the funniest thing is I love the game, but it's like when you see people pump up. It's like they were talking about Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre like they were the greatest things since sliced bread. There's 2 titles between them.
By the way, 2 more things to talk about. Aaron Rodgers last night, guys, shows up. He's got the Achilles problem. He comes back from California. Unfortunately, he chose to go to the same game that Taylor Swift chose to go to.
Oh, God.
Aaron Rodgers was like Vinny Bombazz on NBC last night. Screw you. What about her? What, your whole thing on the Taylor Swift thing?
Yeah.
I'd rather
too much about nothing. I mean,
thank you.
I mean, I'm not a...
I'd rather be playing baseball.
I mean, all I can think about is like what Jason's wife must be saying. Your brother is a complete buffoon.
Yeah, it's because when they break up, there's going to be a 2-disc album about you.
All right, one more thing real quick, guys. There's a quarterback who did his best Brett Favre imitation in Week 1 named Josh Allen, who we all know.
Oh, God.
That had a horrible game, was criticized and ripped for doing everything, seemed to take accountability for it. And the Bills have won 3 games by 28 points or more. Was that a career-defining moment for him? Damo, it's short-term, but is this the real Josh Allen? Is the previous Josh Allen the real Josh Allen? What do you think?
We'll see. I mean, 3 games don't make the rest of his career.
True.
I mean, we'll see if he reverts back to form, later in the season when there's a number 1 seed on the line or something like that. I mean, he is who he is.
Yep.
I think you got to live with a lot of that. I mean, he's got a linebacker mentality. He's never gonna. He's never going to be doing what Jalen's doing right now, which is taking a slide.
Well, the quickest way that I can let you know about that is that he throws the most picks in the 4th quarter of any other quarterback since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think he's gotten it to the point where he's on the ascent right now in the football season. But when it comes to nut cutting time, I wouldn't count on him to be the guy to go to in the 4th quarter.
All right, guys. Eagles 4-0 play the Rams next next week. Jalen obviously sliding to keeping himself clean, keeping himself healthy. Hopefully he can do it again in Los Angeles on Sunday. Thank you to the audience for coming tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you to Hollis Thomas, our guest.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Love to have you back.
Yes.
Damo, love you.
Been
Have a
great.
great week.
Been a lot of fun, Jelly.
Yep. We'll have punter Sean Landetta will be our guest next week here at the Great American Pub in Conshohocken. Brianne O'Neill produced this fine program. Stephen Lawler back at the station. I'm Paul Jolovitz for Damo and Hollis. Saying good night, everybody. Enjoy the Monday night game between Seattle and the Giants. Go Seattle, go Phillies, and go Eagles.